Hello, Dragonazer.
Good evening, morning, damn it. Whatever. Hello.
Well, it is evening here. Is it morning for you?
It's 3 a.m., so kinda
Yikes.
yes.
Oh boy. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I just extracted the. Here it is. Okay, good. So this is your project working together with the Neon Glass team and music by Alex Shagi. Is that like Shaggy?
Yeah. Alex Shaggy. Yeah.
Cool. Anything I should know about the project before getting started playing it?
I don't think there is anything this time. Uh, Surprisingly, this was the first time we had an actual prototype built in the first day, and it was mostly polish, optimization, these kind of things afterwards. So
Mhm.
hopefully, uh, hopefully there's nothing to worry about.
Okay, sounds good. So do you want to talk a little bit about your role on the project?
Yeah. mm, So basically, I do a bit of everything,
Hmm.
like design, game design, design decisions, 3D modeling. For the record, that's our first actual 3D game. So
Hmm.
um, I've did the first version of the shaders you'll see a bit later in the game. Uh, a bit of everything.
Okay,
So
nice.
yeah.
And how large was the team overall?
Uh, the team was like, well, effectively it was a two-people team with a composer on top, because
Hmm.
you see our composer doesn't partake an active part in the development process. He's more like, well, you need music, here you go.
Yeah, that's totally fine. I always end up grabbing music from Mark Sparling's back catalog of dailies. I don't end up making it for the jam.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, as the composer in question is my dad.
okay, that's cool.
Yeah, that gives me some ways.
Oh, okay. Um, so this was your first time building a was it is this not your first time using Unity? It's just your first time making a game that's actually like a 3D character controller.
Yeah, yeah. We've had our first Unity project had was built in 3D,
Hmm.
but it was actually a top-down 2D thing. Yeah. And in some part, we've been joking between ourselves that this game is kind of like a reprise to what we had there. You may want to, yeah. The two-tile jumps may be a bit difficult, uh,
It's a
but
little tricky. It's always the thing with first person platforming, right? Is the fact that you have trouble gauging exactly how close you are to falling off.
yeah.
All right. Well,
I think we have a bit of
nonetheless.
chaos time, but I'm not really sure because while I do a bit of everything, most coding was done by Yokwell, who is not
Mhm.
with us here because he's away to bed.
Oh, because yeah, you worked together on the last game that I played, right?
Yeah, we've been working together on pretty much everything, I think. Well, not exactly everything, but most of the things.
Nice. All right, and now we're seeing that shader effect that you were describing.
Yeah, the echolocation wave thingy
Hmm.
was made by me. But
Oh, okay. Know that. Cool. All right. So, how did you go about designing the levels for this game?
Do you by any chance have a cat? Because I think putting a cat on a keyboard would be a more effective way than what I did.
Why do you say
uh,
that?
uh, you see, I have. It's kind of difficult for me to level design stuff. Historically, it is. So, yeah. I do tend to skew towards doing puzzles. Oh, and here's our first trap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, because puzzles are what I would play, and like when choosing what to do, we've tried asking ourselves what we would play ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so a puzzle platformer was like one of the options that made it in the end. And so, yeah, you don't actually have to use echolocation to walk on the platforms.
You don't have to. Yes, I know that they don't have to be visible for you to walk
Yeah,
on them, but I also don't know where they are. So at least the first time I play through the
yeah,
game.
that's completely reasonable, and it's just that a part of the design was about the memory and all that.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it was really difficult for me to make levels for this because every time I have to do levels, I try to just make a procedural generator and go from that. So like, make AI make a thing and then optimize it. Like, uh, there's this saying: criticizing stuff is always easier than making your own.
Mhm.
So yeah, uh, I don't think I can say much more. All right,
Okay.
this level. Um, this level was the last one we've added in,
Mhm.
and actually, I just uh, drew some circles. I'll spoil it a bit. I don't care.
Mhm.
At this point in time, I don't care. I'm sorry. I just drew some circles in my uh, notebook, simply to and simply outlined the squares they touch. So this whole level is circle.
Okay.
To kind of answer the question of how I did level design.
Well, yeah, I think that's totally fine. Like, if you ask me how I design levels, it's mostly just a matter of working and trying and building some more and then getting inspired by something that's a mistake and then building it into something better. Like, I really go back and forth. So everyone has their own process and you don't have to feel bad about the way that you go about it. Oh boy. Okay, I'm guessing I really don't want to step on any of these platforms that are turning red.
Uh, red are okay, but but if you echo them after they are red, they
Yeah.
fall down.
Yeah, that one's tricky because I have to. There's no way for me to know what platforms have become red.
Yeah, that was a part of the design. The questionable design I like so much.
Okay, and so if that was intentional, then what was the reasoning behind it?
You see, you are currently in the third world,
Hmm.
and we've tried to make things a bit more difficult in every next world. So, as you have seen, worlds 1 and 2 were really like easy, and
Hmm.
the whole game is like 16 levels.
Hmm.
So uh, I've tried to sort them in the order of the growing difficulty, but
Hmm.
I might have. But there is no midway because, again, because my design inspiration was like, and now we're making difficult levels. That's it.
Yeah.
So every world, every world has something specific to it. Like, for example, the first world, it was simply platforming. You didn't have to use echolocation and all that.
Hmm.
The second world introduces you to echolocation, and you can use that to like navigate. Now you are challenged with how you use echolocation.
Hmm.
And the fourth world, I think I'll leave that out uh, in hopes of you getting there for now.
I'll certainly try. The thing that is really difficult for me is that I. Oh, okay. Um, I would almost say that this game right now feels like it would work better if it wasn't in first person. Because if I'm walking forward and I use echolocation, I don't notice
Yeah,
the tiles behind me changing color, you know?
yeah. Uh, I was thinking about it, but um, we've kind of lost that line midway and just
Hmm.
went with what we had.
Okay. Um,
But
and I
yeah,
think,
I'll be honest, that will be the issue with the fourth world because of some of its features.
the other thing that I'm noticing is that sometimes blocks will turn red and then collapse, but I it doesn't look like they've collapsed.
They fall down, so we'll
Well, I see them
probably.
fall, but it looks like they're still there. But I also am worried about walking on those platforms.
Yeah, these platforms are the previews, and uh, it's kind of a trap because, like, you remember there was something there, but you don't know if it's there anymore.
Oh
So
boy.
that was kind of like part of the challenge we tried. Again, making difficult games is our forte, is my forte.
Oh boy. Well, I think the only issue is that without any um, anything to really orient you in space, either the design of the level itself, which is changing, like I I would say I'm not terrible at spatial awareness, but I can't remember like okay, this is north and then this is east and then south and then west. Like I can't
Yeah,
hold a map of this in my mind.
I'll be honest, me neither.
So I know that you were obviously like committed to the project at a certain point, and you didn't have the opportunity to go back and start making changes once you were already started building things out. But if you were to tackle this project and build a slightly different style of challenge, how would you do it differently?
Mm, I honestly don't know. I do want to. As I said, we've had most of it out by the first day,
Mm-hmm.
so I had a lot of time to think about it, and most of the things I want to do with it, even right now. would be polish.
Mhm.
Like maybe let me think about it for like
Mhm.
a bit. Uh,
Sure.
um, there are upsides and downsides to what we did here,
Mhm.
obviously. And I tried to kind of incorporate them in my design to a certain extent. For example, like the flames are more often than not, flames are on the corners, so you know you have to rotate,
Mhm.
or like it's a dead end.
Mhm.
They are not midway, but um, mm, maybe that wasn't enough actually. Maybe uh, maybe I simply went too far with the difficulty, which is, as I said, which is pretty much what I do every time.
I would say the only issue is that I have trouble remembering. Um, like I don't even know if I can make this jump here. And the
Like,
stream's going to take a second to catch up, but like I don't know if this is possible or whether I should echolocate, or if I echolocate, if I'm going to break something, and then
yeah,
it's like having played through this level a number of times now, I'm starting to remember the basic layout of the. And then there's a lot of things that really the fact that there still looks like there's platforms even though there aren't, like it
like
really
this one, yeah.
it makes it difficult to
To
like possibly hold all this in your head. um what
I
sort of feedback were you getting from other people?
uh you see, the issue is um there were a few versions, and like uh this exact thing about um platforms being shown by echolocation and not only by you standing on them, which was
Hmm.
how it was previously, was like again a double-edged sword, because now you really can't know where the stuff is. But it still is a lot easier than uh, if you couldn't see them, because effectively uh, now you're more or less able to use echolocation once in any single place. And as you also know, the flame tiles are always have a platform underneath. You can use that knowledge. But to be
Yeah.
honest, yeah, looking at this level more and more, uh, there are some places where I probably should have set a higher life value of tiles.
I'm not even convinced that that's the problem necessarily.
It's
I think it would take.
I don't really know how to fix the design decision
Mhm.
that we went with, because I did want to make a challenge, but perhaps it came out more difficult than I wanted it.
I I think the issue is that I can't possibly hold a level like this in my head, like unless I
Yeah,
was the designer. Um, that's beyond my capacity, at least while trying to conduct an interview at the same time.
yeah.
Um, and I don't know. I would have to see. Like that's why I was curious, like what other people thought of it, because this seems really difficult to me, and I also just broke this and destroyed it. My chances of beating this, I think I'm going to be stuck on this level. Unfortunately, I don't know if I can get past this one.
Yeah, if two people I've shown it to actually managed to clear it somehow.
Hmm.
and I personally did as well. But I'm pretty sure that the only reason I managed it was because I know the outline.
Mhm.
So yeah, like I know that was a mistake.
I think
And
that one thing that you could do is it'll be easier to remember a level that's smaller, and it'll be easier to keep in mind a level where there isn't as much in many different directions, because that way you can more readily expect the player is going to be looking in the direction that their echolocation affects.
yeah, and
Um,
since there's no north south, since you can't orient yourself, that's
exactly.
part of the issue.
Yeah, like not only do you need a directional orientation, but you need a sense of where you are in the world. Um, like one thing that I would suggest, instead of having this kind of swirling bottom to the level, if you even had like a distant geometry, like oh, just even just a whole bunch of like spikes, like geometric shapes or something, but something that was consistent, so that you could sort of hold a mental map in your brain of like, okay, I'm above this chunk of geometry right now. I know where I am.
I've seen this
And
from this side, so I know I'm here. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. So you get some associative memory of being like, okay, I'm above this set of blocks right now, so I know that there's these many platforms, and then that can help you kind of connect the dots. Because right now there's just very little information to go on. There's information that is actually misleading because the player will see blocks but not realize they can fall right through them. Um, you have the issue of activating the echolocation and then missing blocks behind you, and you have no way of forming these associations. So those four things really like work against you, unfortunately. And I'd be really curious to know how those other people who actually managed to clear the game got through it. Like, what tricks did they use? Maybe they're just really good at memorizing level layouts, and that's entirely possible.
Uh,
Um,
I'm pretty sure it's possible to repeat the same order of doing stuff over and over, and that way to remember
yeah.
uh, where everything is. But if you'd like to see if that helps, I can show you the map of this level.
Um, I mean, I do. I think I
Up
completely
to you.
understand what you're saying. I don't know
Uh,
if I'm going to be able to clear this level, and I think I'm going to have to move on to our next guest shortly. But um, that's why I was sort of curious that you know the feedback that you're going to get from others, I think, is going to be really helpful in um,
yeah,
how you could uh, sort of shape this. Like, I don't know. Do you would you want to continue on this project? Like, make a new version of it if you
I
could?
do want to make, at the very least, I do want to polish the version we have, as I said.
Mhm.
So, one of the reasons why I was happy to see you today, streaming today, was that I'd be able to get a feedback like literally 2 hours after the jam ended.
Mhm.
So, uh, in some part, I would be able to see whether there were any like really bad issues, which
Mm.
there kinda are. Uh,
I think the other thing that's really tricky is the fact that these two tile jumps are just a little hard to make with the limited jump distance that you have. So maybe you could increase the maximum radius the player can jump out to just like by a tiny bit to make those a little more intuitive.
I'll be honest, we already did that.
Oh.
So yeah, that's in some part a developer issue. I'm pretty sure because they were doable before, and
Mhm.
but they were really difficult. So we increased, and then we had enough skill by then
Mhm.
to simply do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that um developer difficulty aside, if you had the opportunity to increase um, the space that you can make the jumps, that would definitely help for players like me who are not as familiar with just how close to the edge of the platform you could get. Oh, I clicked quit when I meant to click.
Resume.
Well, that was interesting. I clicked start and that time the game quit. That was really strange. I don't know what happened with the UI there.
Oh,
I didn't have any problems clicking quit the first time. Okay, well, it'll be on the stream. I think what I've seen a few other developers do, and I always appreciate this when people can take the time, is if you add a level select to the game,
yeah,
um, then you can just allow players to skip to levels they haven't even beaten yet, like just for the sake of the game jam. That way, people can see more of the game.
yeah, that's really reasonable. And I think we should do this in our post-jump version. I hope we'll be able to put it out by like next week, because work is going to wreck us now.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna see. Oh, yeah. The it's not for nothing. Look, I'm clicking on start, but the quit button volume is slightly larger.
Oh,
So I'm not sure exactly um I'm not sure exactly why that is, but it might be worth looking into. But yeah, I think we're going to wrap up on The Last Light by Dragonazer and can I say the Neon Glass team?
yeah.
All right,
Thank you
cool.
for playing, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you as always for joining me, and I look forward to seeing your next project.
Goodbye.
Bye. Rest well. Sounds like it's very late where you are now.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Talk to you later then. Bye bye.
Yeah.